he knows when he's running any kind of zone. I mean, he knows when he has to put his foot in the ground, get his pad level down, and get dirty yards and get what you can. But he also has a really unique ability that the really good running backs have, to where he can just sort of hop and step, and he's patient.
All right, here we go. We are back for another episode of Broncos X's and O's, coming off of a Monday night victory, 28-3. Every time I
look forward to it, don't you?
I do.
It's easier after a victory.
Way easier. You sleep better. Except when I look at 28-3, I always think of that Patriots Falcons game. I know Patriots, we hate the Patriots here in Broncos country, but that's every time I see that score, that's exactly where I go
right?
to. Yeah, 100%. Dave, good to see you, man.
Good seeing you too, man.
Great win last night for the Broncos. Your first initial thoughts on how they played?
Well, I mean, I thought they played well. I mean, I think it was exactly what the Broncos needed. I'd made the comment after the last road loss in Los Angeles. You got to find a way to win a game, because winning is the potion for almost everything, at least for 24 hours.
Yep.
No matter what, no matter how you win in the league, it's going to make everything feel better, seem better, smell better. It's just everything's going to be better for 24 hours. And I think the way they played, I mean, you can draw a lot of positives from that game, and you can sort of create a scenario that how they played last night in the game that I called and you watched. There are some of those attributes we saw last night that you can carry forward, which I think is going to be really important.
Yeah, I think winning in the league is hard, and regardless, I know Joe Burrow wasn't out there last night, and then everybody's going to talk about, well, the Bengals are an inferior opponent. That may be the case, but if Joe Burrow went out there last night, that same Bengals defense was going to be out there. So the offense played well, and they did what they were supposed to do. And I think, for Broncos country that's on the other side of the Bengals aren't good, the Bengals are 2-2, and so are the Broncos. So I would say that was a great way to finish off the first quarter of the season. I thought Bo played really well, 29-42, 2 touchdowns, 326 yards of passing.
Yep.
300-yard games don't just come by, regardless of who the opponent is. And I thought Bo played really well. What did you see from Bo that you loved that will carry forward for the rest of the season?
I thought he was a bit more decisive in the pocket. He made a couple of throws. One was an in cut to Troy Franklin. He let that thing go with anticipation. They brought Franklin in motion from right to left, and then ran a basic route, a dig route, an in cut with Franklin after they cleared it out with the inside receiver. That showed I think the kind of arm strength that Bo Nix has. I mean, people talk about that and doesn't get the ball downfield. I mean, we spend so much time, not us in particular, but in general, everybody in the media and fans, we look for things that we don't like about somebody's game, or that is not as good as the other guy has in this department, or they play a lesser team, or we're constantly looking for reasons to kind of knock people down, knock teams down. And so I thought Bo, again, I thought his feet were better. I thought he was settled. I think the running game really helped him. And I think all in all, although I would agree with fans in this regard, I thought, and I said on the broadcast last night, there was a time, and it wasn't late in the fourth quarter, when I said, the Bengals defense just looks like they're totally exhausted. I mean, guys are walking back. You can always tell, from a defensive standpoint, when they start walking back and they've got hands on their hips, and they're standing around with their hands on their hips, getting the call, waiting for the offense to break the huddle. And there was a lot of that going on last night for Cincinnati. So I don't know if they just figured out, man, there's not a lot of oxygen in this mug. Or I'm not sure when it hit them. But they looked like – and then I will say also in the fourth quarter, I think they knew, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
We just got to get out of here, get on the plane, get home at 6 in the morning, and try to forget this game.
They definitely looked like that in the second half, and I can definitely recall plenty of times just being out there on offense when you are gassed, like, please call a run play. Please call a run play, and Sean was dialing up some passes. You talked about the throw to Troy Franklin, the dig route.
Yep.
This is something that we talked about maybe last show or the first show, the cheat motion. And hey, we'd love to start seeing that cheat motion, and that's that motion where Troy is going, and he's basically timing up the snap count and is taking off. And I thought it was an incredible route by Troy. You know, coming with that cheat motion, sprinting up the field, running a 16 to 18-yard dig route, but then staying negative out of the break and staying quarterback friendly. I thought Bo did a great job. I thought the pocket presence was great by him, and it was a great pocket by the offensive line. One of my favorite plays.
You're going to have to explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think staying negative out of the route, which is so essential for a wide receiver. Number one, it makes it for an easier completion. Number two, you stay healthy a lot longer in the league, right?
I'll double click on that. Yeah, I think one of the things that is hard for receivers to do on dig routes is to stay negative and stay quarterback friendly. And a lot of receivers will drift upfield because it'll be an easier catch
once or twice.
When you're coming across the middle, you have a tendency as a younger player to drift upfield because it'll be an easier catch. So you could just kind of catch the ball like this instead of actually getting negative. You don't want to do that. Number one, if you drift upfield, that is going to create interceptions. It could create interceptions. It could lead you to the hospital as a receiver. So I think Troy did a great job of coming negative. So he's coming out of the break for those viewers out there.
And he's coming a little bit back towards the line of scrimmage.
Which is hard to do.
Instead of staying parallel or gaining a little bit of ground. And look at it like this. If you're driving, don't look at it like this. But if you're sitting at home in your office, right? If you run a dig route at 16 yards and you stay negative out of that break, when you catch the ball, and let's just say the safety really drives the route, you're going to get hit in the backside of your shoulder more than likely. And that's a shot that a lot of times you can withstand, you get knocked down, you get back up, you get back in the huddle. But if you're not negative out of the break, if you start to drift, as Benny said, and then you start to gain a little bit of ground, as the ball then comes to you, you're going to get hit right in the face by the safety, which is not, both of us have probably had that happen.
Yes.
But it's not all that fun, and it's not a way to have a long, productive career in the NFL.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a way to keep you playing healthy, keep you strong throughout your entire career. So I thought that was one of my favorite throws from Bo. I thought Bo played really well, and I wrote down some of my favorite throws and just favorite plays from him. The 3rd and 5 red zone, he scrambles for a touchdown. I love the 3rd and 4. He runs or he throws the ball to Cortland on a hitch route. Timing. I thought the timing and rhythm there was really good. I thought the 3rd and 4, it was a little burger route. A burger route, for those who are out there listening, is an in. Cortland ran like a short in and then back out. And Bo completed that 3rd and 4 to him.
Thus the term in and out.
Yeah. In and out burger. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Shout out to
Don't say
Dave picked it
football
up right
players
there.
aren't smart.
There was a 2nd and 8 on Troy Franklin had a stop route. I thought the timing and rhythm was really good there. The 3rd and 10 hole shot to Marvin Mims. That's a ballsy throw.
Best throw. To me, that's the best throw of the night. Now, I love the in cut to Franklin we were talking about, but the hole shot is one that I think you have to, two things. You have to be really confident. 3 things. Really confident. You got to let that thing go before you see that the receiver has actually cleared the corner. And, you got to have an arm. You got to have a strong enough arm. You can get that ball there before that safety gets there. Again, from a receiver standpoint, we would like to have that ball there in plenty of time that we can catch it and then either protect ourselves or make a move on that safety.
100%. The 3rd and 2 TD to Court, I thought was a great route by Cortland. And the reason why I say it was a great route.
Catch, too.
Yep, great catch. Cortland got to his landmark right there, which created the spacing, which is super important. So they ran all go. You got 5 wide. They ran all go. Evan Ingram runs his little over route to kind of take the safety, but Cortland does a really great job of getting to the outside of the numbers.
He widened.
Yep, did a great job right there, which creates the opening for Bo and creates the throwing lane. And then Cortland does a great job of going up and getting that ball. I mean, 50-50 balls. They're not 50-50 balls with Cortland. They're 90-10 balls anytime the ball is in the air. And I think Cortland and Bo, their connection has been great. One of my favorite routes or connections that Bo had yesterday was the dump off to Bidet. 3rd down. It might have been a 3rd down connection, or it was in the 2-minute drill. But hey, all go special again, checks it down to the running back. Those are Brady, Manning, Breeze type of connections, or throws, I should say, where you know they're dropping out in coverage. You take what the defense gives you, but you still get the first down.
I think it's really Bo being situationally aware, and I think that comes with time. Obviously he started last year, but this is still his 2nd year, and so I would agree with that. Not trying to force the ball down. Backer's got great drops on that play, and here comes Tyler Bidet, and it's an 11-yard gain. Plus he gets out of bounds, stops the clock. So it's just understanding, as you said, what's the call? What's the situation? How much time do I have left? What down and distance is it? And if I don't like what I see downfield, what's the next thing that I've got to get to in a really quick period of time? And that's Bidet on the little crossing route.
Loved that throw. And then
you loved a whole bunch of throws last night.
Because you know what, I think there was a lot of heat from the media and just throughout Broncos country last week in terms of Bo and the throws that he missed. And I think we need to do, especially when he plays well, and something that they're going through the film right now in the building is they're talking about all the things that you do well. It's not just all about the negative plays. So this is a small play right here. 3rd quarter, minute 32 to go. Their RPO, they do a corner, they do a nickel blitz, and Troy Franklin catches the screen for a first down. Little things like that. You talked about his accuracy, his patience. He was seeing the field well, and then the 3rd and 5, they do an all-out blitz, and he hits Harvey on the wheel route for the touchdown. So
all-out blitz, and by the way, don't cover the back.
Yeah.
At that time, I think the Bengals, many of the Bengals at that time had already officially thought about going to DIA, and they're trying their best to get out of here.
They're thinking about what the pregame or the postgame meal is. So I wonder what they got for the postgame meal.
Well, based on their play, NFL teams ought to be happy that your postgame dinner, the one that you getting on the bus, is not commiserate with how you play. Otherwise,
what would they have gotten?
PB&J.
That's it.
PB&J, like stale PB&J. That's basically how they played.
Yeah, I thought Bo. Going back to Bo, I thought he played really well, and that's what you love to see. Especially, I think we can now shift into the running game, but that's what you love to see out of your quarterback. And I think if you look at the first 4 games of the season, he has gotten better, I believe, every single week. Obviously, people are going to point out to the Chargers, but if you look at the Tennessee game, didn't play all that well. 3.5 quarters versus the Colts played really well. I think there were some opportunities. He made the right reads against the Chargers, did not connect, but then put it all together in terms of Cincinnati. So that's the way you want to finish the first quarter of your season. If you finish 2-2, could be 4-0, but woulda, coulda, shoulda, whatever. I thought Bo I think he's progressing in the right way. Thoughts there?
Yeah, I think you mentioned the nickel blitz where it was an RPO and he pulled the ball out and hit Franklin on the little bubble screen. That's something I think from a defensive standpoint that I would be reticent to try to call a lot against him, because that puts him, right, to me at least, right back in his comfort zone that he was in when he played at Auburn and Oregon. The college football has many more. The NFL has sort of arrived at the party. They got there a little bit late with respect to RPOs, but college football has been running the RPO forever. He ran a lot of that at Oregon. So I was shocked, said so on the broadcast, I was shocked when the nickelback came off the edge. I'm thinking, he's going to, there's an RPO attached to that thing. But again, I think you make a good point in terms of how Bo played. The entire offense played well. I'm a big believer in this. You're talking about, we're discussing the Broncos and the NFL, the best players in the world for sure. But there is still the need, I think, the really good coaches do this to establish a confidence level in your team. It's not necessarily, I think, what the coach says. It can be part of that, but it's also the positions that coach puts his team in that enables them to have that success over and over and over. But the point of it is, when you have that and you start thinking, okay, this is working, and now I know why we're doing this and why he says this and why we call this, it allows you to play faster as an offense, and it infuses your team with confidence. And I think the Broncos leave last night feeling very, very confident, and they're going to have to be confident as they head to Philadelphia next weekend.
The big box of nachos with 2 times the protein is back, just in time for football season. The big box of Grande nachos is loaded with warm and crispy tortilla chips, loaded with 2 portions of slow-roasted chicken or seasoned beef, along with refried beans, warm nacho cheese, shredded blend of mozzarella, pepper jack, and cheddar cheese, freshly pared pico de gallo, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole made with Hass avocado. Nothing beats this power pack lineup. And if you have a group, throw in a few buff boxes with 4 Taco Bell classics and a player collectible cup for only $7 to satisfy your Taco Bell crave. This is the best deal in all of Colorado. Taco Bell is a proud sponsor of CU Athletics and is donating $1,000 to the Golden Buff Scholarship Foundation for every CU touchdown scored in 2025. Go Buffs and live Moss. Right now at Bet365, they have great offers available for Broncos fans. They have their Thursday night football offer, which is $10 safety net bet. They have their Sunday night football offer, which is a $365,000 jackpot. Place a $10 bet on the first touchdown score and get a split of $365,000 in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. Also, the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout of straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app and use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Breaking news from Bet365, new customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Disclaimer, must be 21 years or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
You talked about that. You think confidence is one of the most important things. Like you said,
Yep.
These players are some of the best in the world. But when you start to see not only getting in the end zone, but the RJ Harvey missed seam route, the Troy Franklin post, these are
What'd
things.
you think about Harvey's seam route?
I thought he didn't think he was going to be that open.
He did what 2 qualifiers. Young running backs sometimes do when they're called upon to get into the vertical passing game. Mm-hmm. It's not that they can't. It's that they don't do it a lot.
Yep.
And so he released on, we would call it a seam, an alley, whatever. And then his brain, I think, as he got about 15 yards downfield, sort of said, are you going to throw it to me? Should I choke it down here? And he kind of turned around. And when you do that and the quarterback is anticipating you to continue, the ball is a little bit high.
Yeah.
Right?
100%. And I think also this is one of those things where he was the main person on that play. Sean designed it really well. You had Evan going into the flat to widen that flat defender, and then you had Marvin streaking up the sideline. I think they repped that and they practiced it well. But this is one of those things where over time as a younger player, the way you practice it is the way you played. And that's exactly how I believe he practiced it. He practiced it, you weren't expecting it to be that open.
Yeah.
And it was, and he dialed it up. So I think the practice habits will also get better throughout the year.
I thought that play notwithstanding, I left that game last night thinking this is the first time I've seen like RJ Harvey look like, okay, you're that dude.
Yeah.
Coming out of Central Florida. You're a second-round pick. I thought in the early part of the season, he hadn't had a lot of tick. He hadn't had a lot of carries. But I thought there were times that he looked a little tentative. He looked a little bit hesitant, not real sure. Last night, was elusive within the hole, powerful, stepped out of tackles. I mean, he made the catch on the sideline that I made a big deal about because it was a catch and he made it look so common, but it was a ball below the knee and he just kind of reached out almost like a wide receiver. Most running backs are going to try to get their body underneath that catch. He made it look easy, which tells me, okay, this kid has really good hands. But I thought last night, leaving that game, I said, okay, Dobbins and Harvey together, we got to keep these guys healthy, and it's going to be a tandem.
How much of that, as we dive into the running backs in the running game, 186 yards on the ground, how much of that do you think RJ looking like a player, and I agree with you 1,000%, the way he was cutting, the way he was catching the ball, running forward, those are confidence things, those are rhythm things. How much of it, Sean talked about this post-game that they were giving, okay, JK has a series, RJ has a series.
Yeah.
I always thought that I played a lot better, and I was a third and fourth receiver better when I
wanted to play, see?
But I played a little bit better when I had more than just one going there and
Did you politic
block
coaches and say, Coach, I can't get into my rhythm if I've got to get in there a little bit more.
And I would tell
know
Coach,
you did.
I said, hey, Coach, what do you need me to do? What do I need to do to get the uniform?
I'm trying to stay on this roster.
I just want to stay on the roster.
No.
I'm going to shut my mouth and do my thing. But no, I think rhythm is very important. And Sean talked about that, just getting them into a rhythm.
It's funny. How long has Sean Payton been a coach? 16 years, I think, in New Orleans, 3 years here. Been a head coach for a long time, had a lot of success. But I think what we witnessed last night was him coming to the realization that, hey, you know what? Maybe the way we've been doing it is at least open to modification. So you leave the backs in there a few times for a complete series. I thought both backs ran well. I made the comment, and you go back and look at it. I think Dobbins just has the patience and understanding of a really good veteran NFL back. He knows when he's running any kind of zone. He knows when he has to put his foot in the ground, get his pad level down, and get dirty yards and get what you can. But he also has a really unique ability that the really good running backs have, to where he can just sort of hop and step, and he's patient. You remember Le'Veon Bell,
my former teammate,
the Steelers, your former teammate. He took that to the nth degree, to where it was like, dude, you're going to lose a lot of yards running like that. But Dobbins has a little bit of that in him, where the patience is so evident to me as I call the play. But I thought Harvey had, for the first time, had a little bit of that last night too. Not as much as JK, but a little bit. It was kind of like, the grown-up Malinois, and then here's the puppy, and the puppy looks up and sees the Malinois go up the tree, to corner somebody up there, and puppy's like, I probably can't do that, but he's starting to learn how to go up the base of the tree. So these two backs, I think I was really excited about the running game last night.
I was excited about it too, and being a teammate of Le'Veon at Michigan State, that's something that he had naturally, and I think that's something that JK has naturally.
Yeah.
And I think that's a hard thing to teach.
I
Setting
agree.
up blocks and patience, I thought that was really good. I think we have the best running back in the AFC West, based off of what I've seen. Marion Hampton is a special talent, but he's a rookie. And I think Genty, obviously getting drafted in the top 5, special. But I think right now we have the best running back duo in the AFC West, and I think we have the best running back in the AFC West in terms of J.K. Dobbins. I love the way that he set up the blocks. I love the fact of the swagger that he brings. Breaks the streak of the 100-yard rusher. Broncos haven't had
37 games.
37 games.
37 consecutive games without a 100-yard rusher until last night.
Have you ever been a part of a game where everything is just clicking on the run game? How did that make you feel as a receiver? I know when I played, and we're playing this guy this week, when I played with Saquon, it was like you wanted to block as a receiver for these guys because, these things can go 50, 60 yards, and it just actually opens you up even more as a receiver. Talk about a little bit, any best running backs that you played with or running games.
Yeah, I mean, I played on a team in Cleveland that even though in that era it was about running the football, we and the Chargers were the two teams that really threw the ball a lot. We threw the ball to set up the run. That said, I played with two really good running backs, Greg Pruitt. Went to Oklahoma. Mike Pruitt went to Purdue. Mike was a first-round pick. Two talented, very different running backs. Mike was an explosive guy, 230 pounds, and Greg had the best hands of any running back that I have ever played with. We used to have contests in terms of who could catch the ball better, all sorts of one-handed catches and that sort of thing.
You guys did one-handed catches back then?
Oh, yeah, well, better read my resume. Hey, what you mean?
I don't know if you did.
What
they
do
always
you think? We
you
played
guys,
in black and white TV? What's wrong with you?
You guys didn't have gloves like how we had gloves.
No, we didn't have that. We wore scuba gloves. Think about that.
To catch the ball?
Have you ever when it got cold, have you ever scuba dived?
No. But I wore the scuba gear though when
the black dudes scuba dive?
No, I don't think so.
You know what? Neither do white
we
dudes.
don't mess that. I don't mess with black people. Don't really mess with water
Listen,
like that.
Some white dudes don't either. I'll go to the beach, but I said if I ever going to get et by a shark, he's going to have to come up in the sand to get me, right? But no, scuba gloves, these big, thick. I mean, you sort of caught the ball, like this. But yeah, no, the gloves are much, much better. I do want. Speaking of gloves, and I made the comment last night too. Troy Franklin had a couple of really, I think, hard to figure out drops. Receivers are going to drop the ball. I mean, you'd like to go through, a period of time where you just don't have any drops, but you're going to have a couple. But both of those drops, the ball was like on the money, and it almost looked like he either didn't see the ball or couldn't see the ball or couldn't track the ball. Did you saw the drops? What were your thoughts on that?
I thought the first one, the first one, I definitely think it snuck up on him.
It was a crossing route.
Yeah, he ran an over route. They ran a play action, a naked right, which is a boot right, and he comes, 10 to 12 yards over the ball, and I think it just snuck up on him. And I don't know. I don't
know how it would have snuck up on him. I mean, he's running the crossing route.
I'm talking about like he couldn't see the ball.
Oh, he couldn't see it.
Yeah, he couldn't see the ball.
It looked like it.
Yeah. It's almost like he didn't know if he was coming to him. I don't know. It looked weird. And then I don't know if it was the lights, because same thing on the post. It was like he was tracking it and then he lost it.
And you see sometimes when the ball comes down like that and you get your hands there, the ball goes off your hands. I don't think his two hands ever touched the ball. The ball went between them. I mean, I just remember.
Even Pat Bryant, he looked here and then here on the fade route.
Well,
I think
he looked inside shoulder for the fade, and then the ball was on the outside shoulder, right? I mean, okay. I can see that. The Franklin, those two drops were like, I was like, okay, I wonder if something's going on with this kid's eyesight, or did he get caught in the light? Sometimes even on a Monday night, that'll happen. Mm-hmm. But they were perplexing drops because it looked like he never saw the ball.
Yeah, and then when you watch him catch the ball in the dig, he runs right through the ball and catches it.
Right in the money.
Yeah, and so definitely perplexing. I do want, so we'll finish up with the offense right here. I do want to read you some stats. So Drew Brees in year one with Sean Payton, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. So Bo had 29 touchdowns.
12.
Drew Brees' second year, 28 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. So I think Bo is on the right trajectory. Just as we put a bow on this, Bo is on the right trajectory. And I think he's playing well. I think he's progressing well. And Drew was in year, 6 or 7, or year 7.
You need my cheaters.
Yeah. Year 7 in the when he was in his second year with Sean. So Bo's in year 2. So I think, Sean put a lot on Bo's plate. First 4 games of the season. Bo's gotten better every week. I think he will continue to progress. I think he's trending upwards, and I think Broncos country, should be very excited about where he's headed.
I thought Sean was really good last night in sort of how he attacked Cincinnati. And to me, Bo's got good athletic ability, so there's going to be times where you run him, as you said, on the naked, run him on the boot. That slows down your pass rush and ultimately helps your offensive line. There were a couple times that it wasn't a boot, but the pocket moved. Same thing. You change the launch point of that quarterback from time to time so that those defensive ends don't know exactly where he's going to be every time you throw the ball. The quick game got the ball out of the quarterback's hands, which I think is good. Again, frustrates any semblance of pass rush, although I thought the protection last night was excellent. I thought the offensive line really played well. That's the kind of sort of diverse passing game attack. And you couple that with, there were times they lined up and just got after it in the run game, which I think you have to do. You've got backs that can do it. You've got an offensive line that by most metrics graded out to be one of the best last year in run blocking. I think you have to. I think there are times that as a play caller or a play designer, you get greedy, and you want to shot play, and you want to be able to hit here, bang, you hit that dig for 22. Now you get back up, dial up motion. You've got a screen that goes for 17. Now you're looking. Okay, a corner out, a touchdown. And that's great when it happens within the flow of the game, but to me, the NFL doesn't allow, defenses are so good, it just doesn't allow a lot of that. And I think as a play caller, designer, you've got to be at times patient and just say, you know what, we only got 2 or 3 yards, get a good taste at 27 and 12 again, and how does the crown of their helmet taste right in your pie hole? Right. And we're going to run it again. And I thought Sean did a nice job last night. Hey, let me ask you, are you a parent of a 4th to 8th grade kid, or are you somebody who's listening who wants to play in a great competitive basketball league right here in Colorado? You can sign up for a Gold Crown basketball league today. Now, the Gold Crown Foundation was started by Bill Hanslick, former Nugget player and Nugget head coach many years ago, and it still continues to be a staple of our community today. They have divisions for 4th through 8th grade teams. They have feeder teams for high schools and gold, silver, and bronze divisions, which means you can play in both high school gyms and at the Gold Crown Fieldhouse. Gold Crown also has leagues in volleyball, golf, and flag football. It's a nonprofit organization that serves over 18,000 kids annually in the Denver metro area. It's also a great way for kids to have fun playing sports while also playing in a competitive environment that's going to help them if they want to keep playing sports in high school and potentially beyond. You can learn more and sign up by scanning the QR code on screen or visiting goldcrownfoundation.com.
Volo Sports is Denver's most popular provider of adult sports leagues, pickup games, and events. Their sports offered included soccer, volleyball, pickleball, kickball, basketball, cornhole, and many more. Playing with Volo is a great way to meet new people, make friends, and be social. Stay or get more active in a fun way, and mix up your after-work routine. They have leagues all throughout the city in Lodo, Rhino, Highlands, City Park, Cherry Creek, South Broadway, and more. Maybe you played a sport in high school and want to pick it up again. Maybe you were an intramural star in college. Maybe you are a former NFL receiver and you need to get in shape again. Players can sign up as a free agent, small group, or full team, and all ability levels and backgrounds are welcome to join. Use code DNVR10. $10 off any Volo Denver league.
So what would you give first 4 weeks of the season? What's the grade for the offense?
Well, last night they were really good. You think about last night, they had 29 first downs, over 500 yards of offense. Bengals had 9 first downs, 29 and 9. If you go back 1 week, the Chargers had 29 first downs and the Broncos had 9. I wonder how many times that's ever happened to that size of disparity, and consecutive weeks you have the exact same number of first downs. The teams are different, but I would give the offense not a good mark in Tennessee. I think they played well enough to win in Indy. Struggled for any kind of consistency against a much better defense in LA. They were great last night. So I'd give the offense for the 4-week grade, I'd give them a C+.
Wow. C+. I was going to give them a B.
Well, go ahead.
I'll give them a B.
Go ahead.
I'll give them a B. Love the way the offensive line is played. I think the receiver core is and has made dynamic plays. You've seen Cortland Sutton get into the end zone a couple times. Marvin Mims has a couple of touchdowns. I think the running game has been better week after week. I think the quarterback play is where things have to get better.
Yep.
The turnovers and the penalties is why they don't have a B+. They're just a solid B. I think they've progressed every week. I think different areas and different position groups have progressed. But overall, I give them a B. And obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement.
Everybody wants to be in Mr. Fowler's class because he's an easy grader.
I'm on the curve. I'm grading on the curve.
No, I guess, B minus. I said C+, so yeah. We're not far off.
Yeah, so let's move to the defense. Defense played really well, only 3 points. I think, I said on the watch-along yesterday is that, the Bengals had a 12-play drive. They end up with a field goal. I was like, the defense, they had to figure them out. Now that they figured them out, then 8 straight punts, barely crossed the 50. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, both have 3 catches. Jamar has 5 catches for 23 yards, and then T. Higgins had 3 catches for 32 yards. Riley lets up the first pass, deep pass to T. Higgins, and the watch-along chat lost their mind that we need to get rid of Riley. Can you calm Broncos country down, who is giving they're giving Riley Moss a lot of grief. He's going to get targeted, but he got targeted 6 times and only let up 3 catches.
Yeah.
So.
Well, again, you're talking about, I think, as good a tandem of wide receivers in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase as we have in our league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the crowd was sort of sitting like on their hands early, and I thought there was a little bit of like, oh, how's this going to go?
Right.
Early. The Bengals kind of moved down the field, and they settled for a field goal, and then the Broncos, didn't initially, the first drive didn't do much on offense. And I think people were worried. I think there was hand-wringing going on.
I was worried too.
In the stands.
Were you worried? Do you get worried during the games? Because I know you want the Broncos to do well.
I want them to play well because it makes my job a lot more fun and a lot easier. And obviously, you're close. You've done this for a long time. You're close to certain people in the organization. You want them to play well, to win games. So, but the Bengals, I think the last 9 possessions, they had 5 first downs total. So the defense, I thought, played really well. Took away any semblance of a running game. Bengals hadn't been able to run the ball the first 3 weeks, but I think part of that was due to the fact that they really didn't try to. I thought they kind of tried to last night and just didn't have a great deal of success. And I thought the coverage, for the most part, in that game was really good. Really good.
Really
I
good.
think when you think about the Broncos and Riley Moss in particular, 2 things to keep in mind. And Broncos fans know this. One, he's opposite of the best corner in the world. And so it doesn't take a really smart person to figure out, I'm not going to throw all the time at number 2.
Are you saying even you could figure that out?
Yeah, even I could do that, right? I'm going to throw at number 21.
Right.
And I'm going to throw at anybody that's not number 2. So that's the first thing. And number 2, Vance Joseph, the coordinator, he's going to play more than his fair share of man. When you play man-to-man, as much as the Broncos do, you are absolutely counting on your people up front to, if not sack the quarterback, they have to affect him.
Right.
And if they don't, and you're playing man-to-man, receivers are good athletes. They're going to get open if you give them enough time with that kind of coverage. I like it because he doesn't really sit back and play a whole bunch of zone and just come up and tackle. And there are some coordinators in the league that say, we're going to make you go 70 yards. You're not getting the big play. I mean, the Chargers are a little bit like that with Jesse Minter, their defensive coordinator. And he's done a great job, and the Chargers have an excellent defense. But they don't bring a lot of pressure. They're going to sit back and shell coverage, keep everything in front, and then when you start to get close to them, close to the goal line, then they're going to heat you up a little bit. But I like that Vance is aggressive, but it does put pressure on the back end.
100%. I thought Riley played really well, and he's always going to get targeted. And I thought he did a great job because, to me, T. Higgins is a 1A. I mean, 1B receiver. He can go to a lot of teams right now and be the main guy, 100-catch guy, and he's got dynamic playmaking ability. He's also a taller receiver, and I thought Riley played really well. I thought he was pretty sound in coverage, and what I love is the fact that he doesn't back down and he goes out there and he competes. And I think that's super important. And he's going to continue to get targeted, especially this upcoming week with another great.
I mean, let's be real about this. He plays opposite of Pat, and he's a white corner. I mean, hello.
White corners are definitely getting targeted.
You don't think
for sure.
you're going to get? Yeah, you're going to get some business.
And then other receivers are definitely thinking like, "Oh, it's the white corner on me. I'm going at him."
Put him on me.
You think that's why he wears long sleeves?
I don't know. I never thought about that. But as a white dude that played a position in the league that predominantly you find no white dudes playing, I can appreciate the mindset of Riley Moss. It's like, bro, you're gonna get plenty of work.
Yeah.
And if you're not up to the challenge, if you don't have a little swag to your game, and you're not ready to say, hey, you know what, I am not typical. I'm just telling you, if that's not you, then you're not going to be in the league too long.
100%. They'll find out, and they'll be like, blood in the water.
Yes, they will.
They'll be like, oh, got one. I thought Riley played well. Do we have the best pass rushing duo in the NFL in Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonitto? The way they got off on that double sack was incredible.
Split the sack. I mean, it's and also keep in mind, the Broncos have been without Malcolm Roach. Mm-hmm. That's a big factor in the interior part of that defensive line. And hopefully you're going to get him back soon. But to answer your question, I love to see Coop and Bonitto work. They're a little bit different stylistically. Coop is more prone to power and bull rush. He's still got good athletic ability. That damn Bonitto, now, he's about as slippery. I mean, he's as slippery as I've seen calling Broncos games since Von Miller. It's very unusual that even for really good athletes on the edge, that they from time to time will have a move that the tackle doesn't even get a hand on them.
Yeah.
And I've seen that probably 3 or 4 times the first 4 weeks with Bonitto. It's just amazing to watch.
He's in the Defensive Player of the Year running right now. 4.5 sacks, on pace for 19, which would be the most since Von's 18 or 18.5 sack season. So what would you give the Broncos defense grade for the first 4 weeks of the season?
Well, I've learned because we had lunch hour in the teacher's lounge, and I talked to Mr. Fowler, and he along with some of his cohorts, say that I've earned the reputation of being too tough of a grader. So I'm going to say the Broncos defense, defense is so tied into what the offense does, though.
It is.
I'm going to say the defense has been a B-.
Wow, you are a tough grader, man.
What are you saying?
B+. I mean, holding this team to 3 points.
So where do they rank like in the first 4 weeks? And now the rankings have to go up based on last night, but the first 3 weeks of the season.
You know what? I'm not I'm not looking at the rankings. My golf coach tells me.
Your golf coach.
Yeah, my golf coach.
That's something that is so wrong here.
Let me
actually
break this,
have time to golf.
Let me break this down to you.
You should be watching film.
I got it right here. My golf coach tells me when I'm swinging, don't tell me how you feel. Don't tell me what the ball says. So what I've watched is a pretty solid defense. Somebody that shut Cam Ward down, They only let 3 points up.
Okay, now listen, I'm going to check you right now. You're not going to take credit for shutting Cam Ward down.
Why not? Because he's a rookie?
Well, I mean,
look, they did what they
has Tennessee scored yet? They're still trying to score.
In all 4 weeks.
I mean,
look,
have they scored?
They played well, solid coverage.
I gave them B.
You gave them a B minus.
Well,
B plus.
That's a B.
B plus. They played well last night.
They
Nick
played
Bonitto,
really well last night.
I think they're leading the league in sacks.
That's true. They had 12 coming in. They had, 3?
Yep.
Last night, so 15 in 4 games.
Yeah. So leading the league in sacks, which,
they're right on pace right now, basically. They had 63 last year.
Yep.
And they'd be on pace for 68? There you go.
So I think they're playing really
All right,
well
take the
there.
minus off.
I think
I'll give them a B.
For the most part, they cut Justin Herbert in check.
I agree.
I think they played really well there.
I agree.
They just didn't finish in that game. I think the only game that got away from them, which was the Colts, you had some miscues, you had some penalties, and those things need to be changed. So I'd give them a B plus. The pass rush I think is good. I think adding Malcolm Roach back will also bolster things. I think also what I would love for them to see the next 4 games, next quarter of the season, we got to start getting turnovers though.
Yeah.
We're not turning the other team
No,
over.
they've had they've had 1 interception, I believe, and I think it was Brandon Jones.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think the turnovers, I mean, normally you and I both know they come in bunches. Mm-hmm. When you get 1, then all of a sudden you look up and they've had 6 in the last 2 weeks and that sort of thing. No, it's a really good defense. It really is. I think, and the offense can help the defense and vice versa, just with the way they play.
Yeah.
Right. The offense, you go back to the Charger game because first and second down were not very good. Then they get in 3rd and long, which is hard to convert. And then you look up at the end of the game and they're 2 for 13 on 3rd down and they had 48 snaps and the Chargers had 80. Well, the game was almost completely the opposite here last night for the Broncos. So, yeah, I mean, they're 2-2 at sort of the quarter pole. I think, I think they should be at least 3-1, but they're not. Mm-hmm. They should have beaten Indianapolis, and they could have beaten the Chargers, but they didn't. And now you go on the road against the Eagles, and we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's jump into it right now. Eagles. We were getting to a little bit of an argument up here, and I'm not going to put you on the spot with this one because I am very hesitant to have hot takes. But, Jalen Hurts isn't playing all that great and had 0 passing yards in the second half.
Didn't complete a pass.
And we were talking up there, Zach Stevens, our great host and reporter, calling him a top 5 quarterback. And I was like, you can't be a top 5 quarterback with no passing yards in a half. Talk to me about what you think, just initial impressions of this game against Philly.
I think Philly's really good. I think that
best roster in football, because I think they have the best roster in football.
Yeah, I think you could make that case for sure. I think they have learned how to win in the NFL. They win the Super Bowl last year. You know what you're going to get with Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator. They're gonna pressure you with 4. They're going to make you. They're a little bit like the Chargers in terms of the defensive philosophy in this regard. They're going to make you earn everything you get. I don't know how many opportunities we're going to see, and I'll be back there calling the game where you've got a Bronco receiver running behind, the secondary and either catches it or doesn't. They want to keep everything in front. The key will be, I think, Denver's ability from an offensive standpoint to run the ball against that front.
Yep.
For as inconsistent as the Eagles have been on offense, and I don't disagree with that, they still have a formidable defense, and the Broncos are going to have to find a way to deal with that.
100%. I hated playing against these types of defenses. They're just, your quarterback's got to take what the defense gives you. The picture is not always clear.
Yep.
Cover 2. You got to be able to hit these dig routes, and you got to go run the ball, and you got to run the ball efficiently. You got to stay ahead of the sticks first and second down. I think the Broncos got to play really well. They got to establish the run. I like the jumbo sets formations that Sean is calling. I like those things. Like, hey, I'm committing to running the ball. I think J.K. and RJ have the ability to make some dynamic plays in the run game and just, 4, 5, 6 yards, staying consistent, staying ahead of the chains and getting into those 3rd and shorts, 3rd and 3s for Bo, Court, Troy, and Marvin. So
I think the Denver defense matches up well with the Eagles offense. I would say this, my guess will be when you have a guy like A.J. Brown that, hasn't really been a factor so far, and he is a dominant receiver from a physical standpoint, and he's into the cryptic messages.
How do you feel about just from a receiver standpoint? Because I understand.
I do too.
Where he's coming from.
Yeah, you want the ball.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you can affect the game.
You're happy to win, but you pay me to catch the ball. I think it's a hard balance. Maybe harder today than it used to be because of the money involved. And but I would say this: I'll bet you a donut that you like donuts.
Love donuts.
Okay, I do too.
Yeah.
I'll bet you a donut that Nick Sirianni will try to get A.J. Brown going early in that game Sunday in Philadelphia. I'll bet in the first half, A.J. Brown has 7 or 8 targets.
Yep. I agree with you. And I think it's right now what you're seeing on film is these under routes, these slant routes. I think it's going to be go routes. You're going to get some man-to-man coverage, and it's going to be Pat Surtain, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is, he wants to continue to show that he is a dominant receiver. And usually, I think at this time last year, you were asking the same question. He was frustrated, and then, he ends up having some really big games. So I think Pat and A.J. Brown are going to be going at it. And then also DeVonta Smith and Riley Moss. DeVonta Smith has been getting the ball, the brunt of the targets and the brunt of the big plays. And I think
it'll be interesting to see who Pat's on.
I have a question because I talked about this in the watch along, and I'm curious to why. It might be a hard thing to do, but the Broncos play a lot of man anyway. Why wouldn't you put Pat on DeVonta Smith and then double A.J. Brown?
I think
Riley
you
Moss
might
and somebody over the top.
I think you might see that. Pat's capable of playing either one of them. They're two distinctly different style receivers. DeVonta is a route runner and smooth and quick off the line of scrimmage. I think when you want to press A.J. Brown, it's a little bit like wrestling a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
I mean, you better. There's an element of hand-to-hand combat involved with A.J. Brown at the line of scrimmage, which is the way it should be for a guy that is that strong. So, to me, I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos change up who Pat is on from time to time. I don't think it'll be, like Pat was when they played the Bengals, he knows Jamar Chase is going to be the guy. But with the Eagles, I think you'll see him bounce around.
Yeah. Well, either way, I'd love to see that Belichick style of defense. I think it was one of the smartest things. And, for the listeners out there, I think this has been talked about a lot, but Bill Belichick would put his best corner on the second best receiver, take him completely out of the game, and then on your second receiver, and then on your best receiver, he would put the second corner and then a safety help over the top.
Yep.
So you'd have
So
to
who's
beat
the
him.
best receiver for Philadelphia? Aha.
To me, it's A.J. Brown. Because he has that dynamic playmaking ability, that Terrell Owens type. He's in that Jamar Chase category where he has the catch and run ability, but he's also 6'3", 225.
Yeah.
DeVonta Smith is your Deshaun Jackson. He's your Jameson Williams in Detroit.
I agree.
Take the top over, but he's also that person on the 3rd and 5. He's gonna run the out route, and it's gonna be hard for you to stop it. Man-to-man coverage because he's just such a smooth route runner.
Yep.
I mean, to win the Heisman as a receiver, you got to be special.
How about that?
Incredible. So, got to keep. We haven't talked about Saquon. Saquon's a former teammate of mine, one of the most incredible athletes I've ever been a teammate with. Got to keep him bottled up. They've struggled though in terms of their run game. So, Broncos are going to have their hands full, and
Eagles have won 20 of the last 21 games. That's almost
crazy.
Unheard of in the NFL.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right?
Yeah. Finding ways to win. It might not look pretty, but they're finding ways to win. So Broncos will have their hands full. But I think the Broncos can go to Philly and get this win. Feeling confident right now. Going to have a great week of practice. Sean is going to have this team prepared. And Sean's not going to Philly to play scared. He doesn't see them, and he won't see them. He will have respect for them, but he will not bow down and say, "Oh, this is the Philadelphia Eagles." He's going to go out there and he's going to have some tricks up his sleeve.
I think when you see him on film, I think teams would have some confidence playing them right now.
Yep.
With the way Philadelphia's playing on both sides of the ball. That doesn't mean they're not a good team. They're obviously unbeaten, and they won the Super Bowl last year. So, I mean, it's going to be a knockdown drag-out. But I'm just saying the way they are playing, there are some cracks in the armor that I think from both offensively and defensively, that standpoint, the Broncos can take advantage of.
And I think they will. Man, this was great. It's always good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Working that golf game.
I think you know what you're talking about when it comes to football. I think you've seen a lot.
Well, I have seen a little bit. You know, my golf game sucks. I want to put that out there.
Well, I have a coach. Yeah.
Look at you. You actually have your own personal coach?
Have to. I want to be good at it. I don't want to go out there and suck. You know, so when
I don't want to go out there and suck.
I went out there and I started playing for the first time, last year, like really seriously. And I hate when people pat you like this and like, "Oh man, it's all right." Like,
yeah, me too.
Hard.
No,
don't touch me like that.
That's why I don't play.
So that's
it's like
why
shooting
I got
an air ball from the free throw line. Well, try again.
Yeah,
just you got to get it up over the rim in order to go and shut up.
Yeah,
Shut up.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Well, Broncos country, really appreciate you. This is Broncos X's and O's with Benny and Dave.
We all silly like the mayor.